I'm author Mark Muncy,
And I'm author Erika Lance.
and this is Eerie Travels. Greetings, travelers.
Greetings, travelers.
Hey.
Hey, we're recording up here in our mountain domain.
Yes, this is crazy. I'm not used to this weather where the sun is not trying to kill me.
Yes, well, you were living in a world called hell.
Yes.
And you've now since moved to purgatory.
Yeah, it's not that level in Mario where the sun's trying to kill you at all the time. So.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I know you guys are still unpacking, but it's very cool to have you up here, and we're in person recording for the first
together.
time.
Yeah.
Well, officially, you've been up here before.
Yeah, we've done a few recordings in the same room. And
yes.
All that, so,
but today we don't have breaking news, but today you are going on a tangent.
Yeah, a little bit. I think this is going to be, all right, buckle up, gang. This is going to be one of those, we're going to set the Wayback Machine a couple times. We're going to a couple different places. If you've read the description, you people who cheat and read the descriptions.
Yeah, how dare they read the episode titles?
Yeah, come on. You'll know what this is all about, but but I guarantee you don't know all of this, right?
Well, and if you do, congratulations. Send us your stories about it.
Yeah, please. But we're gonna start. We're on the road to Mothman.
We are on the road to Mothman. I do want to point out that on our Facebook page, we're working on our website. Hopefully it'll be up by the time this airs, but on our Facebook page, we're posting all of our events of where we'll be and which one of us will be there, because we've got some events where you're still going to be a little solo, and there's some events that we're going to be, I'm going to be solo, but our next major event that we're both going to be at is DragonCon.
DragonCon, yes.
Yeah,
so it's going to be huge.
And we're getting to do 2 live podcast from
episodes,
there. One about holler monsters.
Yeah.
And then the other is I had to do that.
Love it.
Yeah. And the other is going to be about some of the scary stuff around Atlanta and around Georgia and stuff like that.
Yeah. We're gonna be doing the whole Southern Blue Ridge a little bit. So
yes.
Spooky stuff. We're excited. And then that's gonna be DragonCon. So we're literally gonna be hopping panel to panel, room to room. Try to find us, travelers. We'd love to find you.
Yeah.
We're not going to have our usual booth swag and stuff, but we'll have some prizes for those that find us.
Yeah, I was going to say we have backpacks. We're going to be sneaking in some swag.
Yeah.
If you find us, you come see us, and we'll have some swag for you. But what are we talking about today, Mark?
All right. So since we're talking about Mothman, you and I have been discussing this for some time. That Mothman seems kind of like a singular, solitary creature that's been around for a long time and all that. But as we spread out the net a little bit, you start realizing there are very Mothman adjacent creatures that are similar in appearance.
Hey, Mothman adjacent.
Yeah, I mean, they do a lot of the same things. They appear the same way. They're not quite the same. They're different enough to where each one has its own unique story and history.
So they don't look like what Mothman looks like.
Well, that's the question. Every person you interview about Mothman has a different kind of opinion on what Mothman looks like. The original, we go back to the OG all the time, and that was one of Carrie's illustrations for Eerie, Appalachia, was that it was like a flying Sasquatch, and it had these big muscular arms. And that's not commonly depicted, because most people when they think of Mothman nowadays, everybody thinks of Mothman Prophecies with Richard Gere, and that was based on John Keel's book, that he was researching the original Mothman sightings at the time, and he was noticing all this weird paranormal stuff that was going on around that area. So, Point Pleasant area is kind of a hot spot. We're going to be discussing that in future stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have that, and we're going to be in Point Pleasant for the Mothman Festival. So you can come see us there.
It's an odd area. It's kind of, it's the heart of Appalachia, the oldest mountain range in the world. There's monsters that go all over. That's the Holler Monster Talk. We'll be doing it.
Okay, I'm going to keep doing that every time.
You're going to do that every time I say it.
Yeah.
But, so John Keel, and it made it very more extra dimensional, ultra terrestrial was the term he used. He liked to think of them as angels and demons that live amongst us and stuff like that. So Mothman was more like that.
Oh, so not even an alien.
Yeah, more spiritual be.
Okay, well, that's a whole path I don't think we're going down today.
Yeah. So we're, but what happens is if you exclude those, and you kind of stick with that original, it was more of a hairy, feathery thing, hard to describe because he's always seen in the night and all that. There's a few that really stand out that are very, very similar.
So you think Mothman has friends?
I agree with your assessment.
That's not my assessment. That's your assessment. I am reserving judgment to the end of this episode to decide if Mothman has friends.
Okay, so let's set the Wayback Machine to Houston in the early 1950s.
Okay, that's not that far back.
Not that far back. So, well, almost 90 years now or 80 years now. So it's been a while.
Don't say shit like that. There are people listening. Nobody wants you to date us.
All right.
Like,
Anyway,
what are you doing?
June 1953. So this is around Mothman time. It's not that far off. All right. So a young woman her name is Hilda Walker. She's a housewife, and she's sitting on the porch of her house on East 3rd Street. And she's there with her neighbors, a girl named Judy Meyer, who's only 14, and then Howard Phillips, who's 33. And just basically a hot, peaceful night because it's June and it's in Houston. It's hot. And what happens next changes their life forever.
Okay.
As these stories always
dun,
start.
Dun.
So now Walker has told this story many times.
Okay.
And so she said, basically, 25 feet away, I saw a huge shadow across the lawn. I thought at first it was the magnified reflection of a big moth caught in a nearby streetlight. Then the shadow seemed to bounce upward into a pecan tree. We all looked up, and that's when we saw it.
Wait a minute. Pecans come from trees?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I just literally.
I was wondering if it was going to be, is it pecan or pecan? Yeah, it depends on what.
Regardless, why did I not know that?
It's a tree that
Tree
comes.
nut.
It's a nut tree. Yeah,
a tree nut.
It's not peanuts that come out of the ground.
So sorry to every traveler I just disappointed.
You're not from Georgia. It's okay. So
so it's up in this pecan tree or pecan tree.
Yeah. They're usually not very tall, so this isn't very high off the ground.
Yeah.
And it was a man-like form that stood 6.5 feet tall and sported bat wings on its back. A strange yellow glow surrounded this Batman. And the witnesses are just literally stunned and just can't do anything. They said it seemed like minutes. It was probably a few seconds. You know how we get when time stretches out like that.
Still.
Yeah, and then the light began to fade and the figure vanishes.
Oh.
Doesn't fly away, vanishes, like blinks out of existence. Now, immediately after, she says she hears the swoosh and it flies across the tops of the street. And it was like a white light, a white flash of torpedo shaped object. So
that's how fast it went.
That's what she said. She'd heard so much about flying saucer stories. And I thought people telling all those stories were crazy. But now I know, I don't know what to believe. I may be nuts, but I saw it. Whatever it was, I sat there stupefied. I was amazed.
I like the word stupefied.
Yes.
So I have a question. Is she the only one that doesn't account of this, or do the two other? Oh, okay. But wait, there's more.
Yeah. So Mr. Phillips said, we looked across the street and saw the flash of light rise from another tree and take off like a jet. And they made a police report that next morning.
I love that they waited till the next morning.
Well, yeah, he's sitting on your porch trying
this, yeah.
I would have been,
What about the 14-year-old girl? Does she say anything?
Now, not really.
Did we get access to this police report?
Well, yeah, it's out there. It's out there. It's in it's in Houston.
Okay.
Now, this is not the last time it is seen.
Oh.
So it's 70 plus years now. And one of our friends of the show, Ken Gerhardt, has said that multiple employees of the Bel Air Theater in Houston witnessed a gigantic, maybe helmeted bat-winged creature on a rooftop in the 1990s. And he wrote a whole book about it.
What is the name of this book?
It's called the Houston Batman.
The Houston Batman.
Houston Batman. And now this, it's Texas, so it's kind of crazy. And again, this is before Mothman, and they didn't have to worry about the Batman TV show, which is the only reason they changed the name of Mothman in Point Pleasant, was the Batman TV show was so popular they didn't want to get sued, so the newspaper writers call him the Mothman instead of the Batman.
Well, I thought did the Mothman have, we're going to get into that, but I didn't think he had completely bat-like wings, but has it been bat-like wings this entire time?
No, they're more like angel-like wings with him. So
Okay.
They're
feathery, right?
But he is a furry, and some people said he flew like a bat. So
how many people actually get to watch a bat fly? I mean, truly, like slow, because bats are fast. Okay, but are we still in Houston?
We're still, I'm actually going to talk about a bat expert's opinion on this.
Okay, but I want to clarify. So we have the three people on their porch who see, did they mention his eyes glowing red or anything, or he just?
No, he just, it's had that golden glow about him.
Okay, and then he took off like a rocket, like a jet.
And the Houston Chronicle newspaper had the story. Yeah, so he literally just takes off. He disappears, and then it's like he's in a spaceship flying away.
Okay,
or something. It's such a weird thing.
Okay,
or he flew away like a missile. He turned, transformed into a missile-like light.
Wow. Okay.
And see, you get the qualities of a bat, but with like a slender frame, broad shoulders, and then when you see it, you freeze in your tracks. And our friend Mothman has broad shoulders, slender frame, and has been described as flying like a bat. So that's why
he didn't have a golden aura about him.
No, he has the red eyes. But again, that could be eye shine from headlights.
So, question.
Mm-hmm.
It seems with these, I'm going to say Houston Part 1, in 1950, that they're indicating that this isn't a cryptid type creature. This is more of an alien type creature.
Again, because this would have been during the flying saucer mania of the early 1950s.
Unlike the saucer mania of today, but that's a different episode.
It's where we're getting disclosure with a capital D.
But they so it seems alien-like in some ways. And then the one in the 1990s was just around this one theater.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a helmet.
It had a helmet. And again, not a very big wingspan. And that's where our bat expert, there's a guy from Houston bat colony that lives under this one bridge, and he studies it. And it's like hundreds of thousands of bats fly out every night. And so they, of course, asked him his opinion on this. And he was like, for there to be something as tall as a man that could fly like a bat, it would have to have an 18-foot wingspan.
So that's 9 feet each direction.
Yes. That's huge. And these things that they saw were not that.
Well, they might have been jet packs that have little, like aerodynamic parts to them. I'm going into the alien category with those.
Yeah.
I think those are Supermen or that sort of thing from another planet that have cute flight suits. Everybody's just like, that's Batman. And I guess that's where the comic could come from. I'm Batman.
Well, the comic came out in the 30s, so that's why.
No, I don't mean that's where the comic came from.
No, but I'm just saying that's why I was surprised more people don't put Batman and Batman together, because it wasn't until the TV show that Batman.
Well, Batman's not in trees a lot, Mark.
Yeah,
he's on buildings.
Yeah, he's in Gotham.
But and no offense, in the 90s, somebody could be running around in cosplay. People see them, and anyway, okay, so. Interesting part of this voyage. And so this event kind of disappears at that point, except for that Bel Air theater encounter in the 90s. And then so let's say, so it was the 50s, then the 90s,
guess we're in the 2020s now. The year of the lockdown, the year of all the bad things, the 2020 itself. People start panicking. They've seen something flying through the buildings of Houston, from building to building. It could just be a person doing some sort of flight suit thing, but they swear it makes a screeching sound that is so high pitch and inhuman.
That could be machinery, though.
It could be a jet.
So how many people see this in 2020?
About 20 to 30, because downtown Houston is mostly abandoned. Because all the offices are closed. This is right at peak pandemic. And now, not that much of Texas closed down completely anyway, but still, what's amazing about that encounter is similar to Mothman's initial sound that he made, that they describe as real high pitch.
Did anybody get it on record or photographs or anything?
There are some blurry photographs, classic, phone cams trying to, take a picture, and it's shaky cam. It is the epitome of shaky cam, and just shadows, not seeing the thing. So, and of course somebody's like, oh, it's a crane. It's a bird. That's our usual suspect when it comes to Mothman sightings, is it's our sandhill crane or something like that. Everybody wants to debunk it. That's always the case.
I think, people want a rational explanation and to get that it's Mothman, but so the one in the 2020s looked like the original Mothman with the red eyes and everything?
They said, now this one, they said had red eyes. Now the 1990s ones, they said it looked like something wearing a helmet, but still had the bat wings and was kind of tucked in behind him, so it never spread them out. And that's also kind of how Mothman was described as flying back in the 60s, had tucked in. It never spread its wings out. They were always tucked in. That's why I always love these pictures of Mothman where his wings all stretched out. And it's like, he never did that in any of the descriptions. And any of the sightings that have been reported to me, he's like got his wings.
Are we sure it's not a cape?
That's, my thought is, I think that's just the way he's shaped. That he's kind of like flies how down in Florida we have our wonderful palmetto bugs, and where they're
I don't know that people who have encountered a palmetto bug would consider it wonderful, Mark.
Okay, yeah. For those of you who are not in Florida, palmetto bugs are the biggest roaches you've ever seen.
And they fly.
And
not like a little bit. No. They super fly.
And they fly at your face. And the way their wings are moving so fast, you don't see it. It just looks like this big round shape flying at you, but the wings are moving so fast. And so I think that might be Mothman's technique.
So you think Mothman's a giant palmetto bug? That's what I got from this conversation, Mark. Is that Mothman is a giant palmetto bug?
I know, that's why it's going to be on my tombstone now.
Yes, Mothman is a giant palmetto bug.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Oh, I'm done.
Okay, so
we got to take a break.
We're going to take a break.
Yeah, we got to take a break. I got to recompose after that. Oh,
come on. Palmetto bug. Don't send me hate mail.
Eerie, Appalachia. Gear up for a frightful jaunt into the darkest reaches of the ancient Appalachians. Folks deep within the Appalachian hollers lean close to the campfire to share stories of the inexplicable with hushed awe. Monsters rumbling in the hills, strange lights darting through the pitch black night sky. Horrible occurrences, almost ineffable in their bizarre tragedy. Tall tales, you might say. Tell that to the Flatwoods monster in Braxton County, West Virginia, or the Goat Man of Louisville. Look into his humanoid eyes and let him know you don't believe. And what of those apparitions in Mammoth Cave's Corpse Rock, or the Satan spawn known as the Jersey Devil? How do you respond when confronted by these mysteries? From the metaphysical energy that swirls near Serpent Mound in Ohio to Point Pleasant's Mothman legacy, Mark Muncy and Carrie Schultz explore the dark history lurking in the shadows of Appalachia. Read by Mark Muncy, author and experts on strange folklore with appearances on shows such as Ancient Aliens, The Curse of Robert the Doll, and many, many more.
Greetings, mortals, and others. I'm Dick Terhune, the voice from hell. I work with haunted attractions all over the US, Canada, and Europe to increase audiences and enhance their experience with highly effective commercials, narrations, animatronic character voices, whatever your dark heart desires. Let me help you do more, scare more, profit more. Find out more at Voice from Hell on Facebook and at voicefromhell.com.
Okay,
Oh,
we're back.
man.
Mark has repaired himself from the, I'm not going to bring it up again because I'm afraid we won't be able to continue the podcast if I bring this up again.
No. Moving on.
Moving on. Okay,
Moving on.
so we're out of Houston now.
Yeah.
Houston, we have a problem. Okay, where are we going now?
So now, we had John Keel's 75 Mothman prophecies, and then 2002 we have the movie, Mothman prophecies with Richard Gere, and then we have something that has been seen since the 70s, but has been seen all the way up to modern times again, but this time not in West Virginia, not in Houston, Chicago.
Oh, wow.
So
okay, so we're in
not
Illinois,
middle of nowhere where the bumpkin saw the alien, and nobody can believe him. This is Chicago, and Houston,
it's huge too. I was about to say we're not in Bumpkinville at all.
It was in the 50s, so that's why it was kind of dismissed. This is one people have generally seen. I mean, generationally have seen this one, and the really February of 2021, things go crazy.
Okay, so they started seeing it in the 70s.
Yeah.
Who started seeing it?
Just a bunch of people. Sorry
You
about
gotta
that.
use all the words
Gotta
in
use
the
all the
correct
words
order.
today.
Yeah, you're sounding
Now
like me
this
today.
one doesn't look so much like a bat. They call him the Chicago Batman or the Chicago Mothman. It doesn't look like a bat, but looks a bit more like a pterodactyl. And
Wait.
yeah,
Did you just say it looks like a dinosaur?
it looks like a dinosaur. Slenderness of its head and wing shape. I like the one witness described it as, I know what birds and bats look like. This thing didn't have any feathers or fur, and it didn't fly like anything I've ever seen.
Okay.
He described it as having muscular legs, a human-like shape, and it flew in a strange swooping motion, but undulating up and down. So woo, woo. So almost like a guy in a flight suit, I would say, right? That would be my thought.
Are you already debunking the story?
Well, that was what a lot of people did.
Okay.
But there were 55 sightings in 2017.
Wow.
And
where was it seen?
Chicago.
No, but like in downtown Chicago.
Downtown Chicago, flying around the buildings. And it was most reports described it being in flight. Some people said it swooped down on people, and a couple have it landing on cars, setting off car alarms.
Wow.
And so that sightings alone, just in cryptozoological terms, is nuts. Because
that's huge.
It's huge urban area, so many sightings reported. Police are basically getting flooded with calls. And now the 60s Mothman, everybody associates it with the bridge disaster because John Keel put 2 and 2 together and made 6. The bridge disaster, Mothman was just causing the bridge to collapse or warning us about the bridge collapse, depending on your interpretation of it. So everybody's like, oh, Chicago, what's going to happen to Chicago? Is 2017 is when this really hit. But
did anything happen in Chicago?
No, and you also got to realize this is kind of a selective sample, because if 55 people reported, how many people do you think really saw it?
Well, I mean, yeah, I would think more, but that actually lends itself. Okay, so does anybody? It's 2017. We all have cell phones. Does anyone get a picture of it?
Again, some blurry photos, some blurry video. Nothing spectacular. Nothing that is conclusive.
Okay. So what does the Chicago Police Department say about this?
That there is a phenomenon with real witnesses.
Okay, so they're not discounting it. They're just not saying, yeah, we have a giant flying cryptid in our city. And okay.
And so they go, this isn't Mothman, coming to Chicago. This is something weird, right? This is just something bizarre. And
so but
it could be anything.
So that's 2017. We're in 2023 now. What happens in between then and now?
That's just it. He's been seen a couple more times, but nothing major. But when he was seen in Chicago 2017, the Facebook and all the message boards were going nuts with people panicking, convinced there was going to be some major disaster to befall Chicago because of what happened with the Mothman.
Okay.
So,
but this one flies like a pterodactyl.
Yes. So then we're going to travel a little bit, over to the other coast.
Okay. So so we have Point Pleasant, Bat/Mothman / palmetto bug. Then we have Houston, Batman / alien. Then we have Chicago, Batman / pterodactyl.
Right.
Okay.
Now, there's a rash of sightings all over. If you start putting them all together, there's a bunch of fun ones. I like 2009, Mount Shasta in California. Several hikers witness a huge creature with wet, leathery wings fly out of a crevice in a mountain. And they describe it as having a head similar to a pterodactyl, but they say now it looks more like but when they start recollecting it, they said it looked more like a flying fox bat, but giant. And so in 2011, a guy was walking his dog in the same area, and he saw the same thing. And he said, I saw it in the sky. It had bat wings, blue fur, and eyes glowing red, about 9 feet tall. And it stood up on the ground, and I just watched it fly away.
So that one's like the tick from the comics.
So yeah, blue fur. Okay, yeah, we'll take that. 2014, in Akron, Ohio, a second period Spanish class, whole bunch of kids see this giant black mass zip by their window at incredible speed. And they said it was about 9 feet tall, 20, 30 foot wingspan. And they called it a Bat-squatch. It looked like a flying Sasquatch with bat face and bat ears.
Okay.
Then we go back. I got to mention this one because this is another strange one. And this goes back to Texas. So San Antonio.
Okay.
There is a rash of a dozen sightings. And this is 1975.
Okay.
All right. And there they have an encounter with a giant bird with a 10-foot wingspan over police cars. The police report this themselves. They've seen it along with dozens of other witnesses. Some people say it was like a pelican, but it was on New Year's Day when two girls, Tracy Lawson and Jackie Davies, they observed this scary 8-foot tall bird leering at them in their yard while they played. And the parents discovered 3-toed tracks the next day, and it was on the news. And then that's when hysteria kind of goes crazy and everybody says they've seen it and all this. You're going to love the name of this one.
Okay,
this one's not the Houston Mothman. Guess what they called it? Because 1975, what was the most popular children's show on television?
Sesame Street?
Yep. So they called him the Texas Big Bird.
See, that bird, of everything you said, and we're going to go over that in literally 1 minute. That one reminds me a little bit of the Thunderbird. Which is a bird that they haven't, I'm not sure because research wise, but Thunderbirds were believed to have existed, and they were very large, sort of eagle kind of things, but they had, I think it was a 10-foot wingspan. Like they were giant birds. And I think it's believed they really did exist, not like mythological cryptids. They were just giant birds, right?
Yep.
So I think that that sounds to me more like one of like a thunderbird, like a giant bird, and that's a whole other show we can get
Right,
into.
Thunderbirds or something later, and
Yeah.
Terrors in the Skies. Seth Breedlove, Small Town Monsters, who we love dearly, he did a great documentary called Terrors in the Skies, which was more about those things, and that's why I was kind of trying to avoid those. But my favorite, the reason about this big bird that got me was one of my favorite quotes, and I was trying to pull it up here. Yes, so this guy, one of the witnesses, said it attacked him and tried to rip at his clothes and it scratched him. And his quote was, "It was a bird, but not a bird. It looked like something from another planet and had big red eyes." So that's where I go.
Bird, but not a bird, but something from another, because he's seen things from another planet.
He said it was like something from another planet.
See, that's my whole thing. So, okay. Is that all of them?
That's pretty much, unless we want to talk about something prehistoric.
Okay, bring it up and then we are going to have our discussion.
Okay. This is something that I love it because, we go back to the 1940s and in France, and I love that history is made by a dog named Robot, which is the best name for a dog, I think.
In the 1940s.
That's probably one of the best names ever for a dog. He goes into a cave and 4 boys tried to chase after him. And one of them is a young Jewish boy who had fled the Nazi invasion.
Okay.
So, and they discover these cave paintings inside. So this is right before World War II.
Okay.
Actually, during World War II in France, but pre us entering World War II, so we don't count it.
Yeah.
It's
so dumb.
It's the pre-game show.
We count it.
Yeah, we count it. Yeah, but anyway, they discover a group of cave paintings in Lascaux, and these are some of the most strangest prehistoric art we've ever seen, because it's mostly animals, but there is a dead man, lying next to a bison, and we think a rhinoceros.
Okay.
And which I guess would have been in France at some point, prehistoric times.
Or
but
a unicorn.
The weirdest thing is the Lascaux Birdman, they call it now, because there is a man with the head of a bird, and
is that a giant penis?
It is a very erect penis about to attack a bison. Yes. So I've seen this picture all over the internet where they erase out the penis because so
okay, we're posting that in the show. No, I'm not even going down this path.
Yeah,
I don't even know what
the link. We'll put the link.
You guys can judge.
But if you judge that, you judge, early Egyptian gods, there's the birdmen, there's all that. So giant bird people is definitely something that has been part of our culture, and sightings of them have gone on for generations. So this is not Mothman is not a new thing. That's what all this is. This is, we go back prehistoric times. We saw them too.
Yeah. And I think that, it's interesting because what we're talking about time period wise is a collision of what could be cryptids, what could be aliens, and what could just be technology. Because I hate to say it, 2020 happens. Houston is one of the areas that does have a lot of military bases around it. If you're going to go test something to see if you can fly between buildings and stuff like that, why not test it when everybody's in lockdown? Because although Texas and Florida did not follow necessarily the same lockdown procedures of New York and California,
they still were ghost towns a lot.
But in that time period, they absolutely were ghost towns, because it was more the latter part of 2020, the early parts of 2021, that a lot of people came out of, being in lockdown. And so I have to go. It's interesting because what are those things? And kind of to the point of, are there things that are left over or mutated? Because then that's the other thing that we could bring up is one of the things that the Nazis were doing, and they were not the only ones,
No.
but they are known for having doing this, is kind of what we see in Jurassic Park, even though nobody likes to make that, analogy, is bringing back or mutating things. And if you're going to mutate things, or things do get mutated, you can have, like the California thing, I go, if it looked like one of the fox bats, I forget what they're called, but those are, first of all, those are huge to begin with. Yeah, those can be up to 6 feet to start with.
Yeah.
So if it got mutated, it happened because we have people like, look at Andre the Giant, who was almost 8 feet tall or something like that.
Johan, Ripley's guy, the Norwegian giant. I've got his ring, and it fits over 3 of my fingers, and it was one of his finger rings.
Exactly. So why can't there be that in nature? Why can't there be stuff like that in nature? So if you have that, I'm not saying that accounts for the Mothman, and I'm not saying that accounts for the aliens and stuff like that. But to me, I go, the thing in Chicago and the thing in, the thing in Houston
in the 50s.
No,
or the new modern.
The modern one screams military or something like that.
With a jetpack or a flying suit.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the YouTube videos of guys with the flying suits doing the crazy stuff over the mountains and stuff like that. Somebody took advantage of the fact that there was no flying and didn't have to worry about FAA shutting them down, and jumped around in some buildings.
Yeah, exactly. Because one of the things that you do see with a lot of these things is you put the wings out and they have whatever they call those, the sails, the membranes. They're not bat wings, but they're membranes.
They do look bat-ish.
Yeah, and you can color them.
But
right?
Again, that explains some of them, but that still leaves a wide open some of these.
It does.
What the hell?
What are they?
What are they?
And there could be aliens, and we might find out here in these hearings.
It's everything we're finding out. They on testimony, non-humans, and all that. So we'll see what more comes out around all that. I think we're building up to something. I think something is coming.
Oh, I've already said this. I've already laid down my.
They're saying this stuff because something so extraordinary is going to happen. They're good that they can say, well, we tried to have, a ceremony on it, or what a ceremony? Jesus,
a ceremony.
That's what I call. That's what I call those government trials. Government hearings. They're just show and ceremony or.
Well, it's true, but I think to your point, I think we've talked offline about it. We're gonna have a deeper episode because they're not done with all these Senate hearings and stuff. No. So we'll probably. Travelers, we'll probably talk about that more. First of all, if you have stories, send us your stories.
I get stories from flying humanoid sightings a lot, and down in Mayaca, we recently investigated one. I've gotten some from up in the Smokies that we're excited to look into. So, and some out west that we would love to look into. So please, if I can get a couple that verify each other with independently, I'm not saying. If you saw something, say something. That's all we always say. So just drop us a line at the Eerie Travels website. Just click the link, drop us an email.
Yeah.
And that way we can document it. And then if you verify somebody else's link, hey.
No, it's true.
We'll let you know.
So you think these are all Mothman's friends, though? Do you think they all party?
I'm sure they do. I'm still not sure they're friends, but I'm, maybe Facebook friends, where you see them once in a while and just,
they're on LinkedIn, whatever that LinkedIn is. We need to get invited to the cryptid LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Like cryptids are like, hey, this is my territory. You can't come.
Cryptid.
Cryptid. Somebody create that. We need that immediately.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody's already bookmarked the website. And,
exactly.
And has built the servers and everything.
It's going to send us a link once
this airs. But man, that's just, so that, we think there's more to it. There's definitely, Mothman is not alone. And that's nice to know he's got buddies out there.
It's very nice to know. So Mark, thank you for that bizarre thing.
Yeah.
Again, I just to wind up the show, because I know you're about to say goodbye. You are saying that Mothman is very much like what kind of bug? I'm sorry, I just need to re-clarify that you think Mothman is like a palmetto bug.
Could fly like certain bugs.
So a palmetto bug.
All right, fine.
That brings whole new meaning to Men in Black too. Okay,
it does. All right,
you better kick us out of here.
Oh my gosh, gang! Please like, share, subscribe. As always, thank you so much. Keep voting on all those. sites that like to have us voted up. We Paranormality Mag, we love our friends there and would love that. We are in the top 10 again for August. So we'd like to stay near the top. Let's get up to the top this time. So,
yeah, let's get to the top.
So go to Paranormality Mag and do that. And then, as always, gang, keep watching the skies, and we'll see you on the other side.